Big cities across the country are seeing a big jump in the number of people losing their homes. To blame, unexpectedly high interest rates, rising inflation, and real estate that some say is heading toward trouble. Interest rates are rising, gas prices skyrocketing, homeowners are feeling the pinch. The result, bigger cracks in the housing market. Also on the rise, foreclosures. Some estimates show more than 300,000 homes in foreclosure in the beginning of 2006. That's about 1 in every 358 households struggling to make their mortgage payments. You can blame high home prices and aggressive mortgage lending. Sure. The Mortgage Bankers Association says more than a third of loans in the past 3 years are carrying adjustable rates. As a result, monthly payments on those mortgages will jump as much as 50% in the next year and a half. That's more than $2.7 trillion in risky loans stretching some to the breaking point. In past months, Hurricane Katrina pushed the trend upward. But now, states like Georgia, Colorado, and Indiana have the highest statewide foreclosure rates. Some argue the numbers are still historically low. But economists worry an increase in foreclosures could mean problems for the nation's economy and your pocketbook. Now, if your home is heading for foreclosure, it might seem like all is lost. But watch out. Scammers look out for people with financial problems and could make a bad situation even worse. Rick Sharga follows foreclosures for RealtyTrac in Cincinnati. Rick, welcome. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me, Jerry.
So we found out why there are so many foreclosures. Where are they? Where are people like you and the people who read your website, where are they finding the deals?
Well, we pull foreclosure information from 2,500 counties across the country. And unfortunately, there are about 650,000 of those properties in our database. But the hardest hit states right now are in the Midwest, Ohio, Indiana, Colorado, and some of the southern states like Texas and Georgia.
All right. Well, you know, you're in a strange business where your gain is really somebody else's pain. Let's talk a little bit about a minority in your industry who have shoddy practices when it comes to doing businesses. They're really ripping people off out there. Who are these people and what are their tactics?
Well, there are people who will prey on folks that are in distress. And there are a few common fraud schemes that are going on right now that people should watch out for. One is something that's called a subject to purchase.
What does that mean?
Well, basically it's somebody who's saying they're going to buy your house or take title of your house subject to other conditions happening. And basically what happens is they come in, get somebody to sign over the title for their house under the premise that these people will go and take care of the defaulted amount on the loan, cure the delinquency. And what often happens is the people who sign these documents don't realize they're actually giving away their house.
Right, and another problem is that they never really get the true value of that home either. They're losing money across the board. What's the other scam?
Oh, the other scam is it's actually a little bit more basic. It's somebody coming in telling you they're going to make payments for you to get you out of default. And in fact, they don't. What they do is they monitor the progress of your house toward foreclosure and wind up bidding on it at the auction.
Wow.
So they're very similar schemes. People need to really just pay close attention to what they're signing.
Well, pay attention to what you're signing, but also, is there anything else you should do? Is there any other way to prevent being ripped off by one of these guys?
There are a couple things people really need to do if they find themselves in default. The very first thing they need to do is the thing they absolutely don't want to do at all, which is they need to get in touch with their lender. Lenders have lots of different workout programs. They have refinances. They have forbearance programs.
Right.
They
Absolutely.
can change all this stuff. So that's the first good resource. The second one is get in touch with a real estate professional, whether it's an agent or a real estate lawyer, to go through what your options are and find out what other ways you have to get out of the foreclosure.
You can also legitimately sell the house, of course. But let's talk about talking to your banker, because I think people wait until they actually get the foreclosure notice to really start talking to their lender. It makes sense to really contact them earlier, right?
It really makes sense to contact your lender if you miss some payments and you know that you're not going to be able to make them up easily. The fact is, if in some states like Texas or Georgia, if you wait until you get your notice of default, you only have about a month at that point to get out of the foreclosure, which just simply isn't enough time to either sell the property or find an alternative finance method.
Is there any way out of the problem if you've already gotten the foreclosure notice?
Yes, and again, the very first thing to do is get in touch with the lender. The next thing to do is to look at your options in terms of being able to sell the property, or if you have equity in the property, being able to refinance it. And there are, again, professionals, there are some governmental organizations, there are some community groups that will help you explore those options. But the worst thing to do is to go into denial and basically go into hiding and hope this is all going to go away.
So easy to do, but the wrong choice. You're right about that. Rick Sharga, thanks for being with us.
Thanks again, Jerry.
Coming up on Open House, why you might have to tell others you have a haunted house. Plus, we're talking turf, how to have the best lawn in the neighborhood, and why in some cities former asylums are hot property. The new trend next. First, your tip of the day. Here's how to avoid a foreclosure notice from the bank. First, don't overextend yourself. Spend no more than 28% of your gross income on housing. Second, live on a budget. Eliminating small day-to-day items could add up to big savings. Third, build a safety net. Financial planners generally recommend a 6-month savings cushion. That way, if you run into problems, you'll be able to meet your financial obligations. Make sure you take the first step before the late notices start piling up. Foreclosures are a mess for everyone involved, so there is a good chance they'll help you work something out. And that's your tip of the day.